So, welcome to things I wish I'd thought of before I moved, or things I didn't consider before I moved. And I did consider most things. I bought some stuff from Forage Plus, some stuff like when you feed it if you're like changing grass pasture or like stuff like that. So I bought some of that, started feeding that a week before, 2 weeks before, can't remember, before we moved. Obviously to help with the grass, more specifically was more worried about Lexi because obviously she's little and she loves to eat and seems to just expand at the sight of grass. Nico ate it fine. Ellie, bit fussy but would eat it if I put enough chaff and stuff in, lots of molasses. Lexi, of course, the one I want to eat it, doesn't eat it. So she basically hasn't eaten that at all. But anyway, I did consider it. Ground. I knew the ground was different, but I guess I hadn't considered how sheltered my guys have been, because we've just always been in that field and they've just always walked on grass. I never even considered that they might be a bit footy on like a track. So obviously if you watch my last vlog you'll have seen the new setup, so they're obviously not always on grass now, which is lovely in a way because obviously like I can sweep, the stables are proper, the rubber matting works, like I can muck out properly, I don't have to worry about like flooding or drainage or anything like that. But I didn't consider that just going from concrete, which they're fine on the concrete, but there's like a sort of track and it's not stony really, but it is sort of stony, like it's got, well, it's basically dust at the moment, but like it's like a dust track and it's got like not tiny gravel bits but like small stones, and I never could have considered how footy they were going to be on that. And also the ground is quite different, so because we are in a different area, the ground is quite sandy and stony, whereas where we were before was just basically just like mud and there wasn't really much stone. Again, these stones are not like huge stones. I mean, there is the occasional like big stone, but they're big enough that they wouldn't get like stuck in or around their hoof, but small enough, I guess, to put the pressure on. So when we moved, Nico went lame after about 3 days, so that was great. Absolutely hopping lame. I've got some videos. So you can imagine I was delighted when I went up and was met with that sight. I was like, oh my god, like what has he done? This is like he's broken a leg or something. Oh boy. Can I put that here? Silence be tight. Come on. That's it. So turns out he had an abscess. So I have not had many horses that have ever suffered with abscesses. So like a lot of people I know, it's like a fairly regular thing, but I've hardly ever had horses with it. I think we've had like one horse that's ever had poultices, so I'm not very good at it. That was a challenge. So I did poultice because a couple of my friends were like, oh, you poultice. So I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So I poulticed the first few days and nothing really appeared to happen. Although he did get better, like he improved, he didn't get better, like he wasn't like miraculously back to normal, but he did improve. But there was no sign of any abscess burst. So I was like, well, it can't be an abscess because he's improved. But there's no like gunk anywhere. So stopped poulticing, but I thought that he might have bruised his sole because he has bruised his sole before. When we were at Coleraine, he stood on something and bruised his sole, and he was quite lame then. So I was like, well, actually, maybe I'll do dry poultice as such, just to give him like the padding on his hoof, to take a little bit of pain off of the bruising. So I did that, and then a few days later took the poultice off, and at the top of his heel bulb where the poultice had been, there was some pretty smelly gunk, and his heel bulb looked like it had an abscess erupt through it. So I was like, oh, so it is an abscess, or is it because it's been hot and I've been poulticing and it's just affected his hoof? Good boy. Right, see if you can get close to that. So anyway, it turns out he did have an abscess. The farrier was like, you need to stop poulticing now, like you've got it all out. He could see where it was, but he was like, you need to like leave it now for it to harden. So he said he'll probably get better from the abscess faster than he will do from the heel bulb like eruption, because he was like, because of where it's exited, he said it basically every time he moves his hoof on anything that's not perfectly flat, it's going to it's going to obviously put a bit of pain through his heel bulb. So he has got much better from the abscess. The abscess is fine, but he is still a bit footy. He's definitely improving, but I think he's finding it a little bit difficult because the ground's so hard, because we're in a drought and we've not had any considerable rain for ages. And obviously because the new ground's a bit stony, it is quite uneven in places. Like he is finding it a bit sore, but he is definitely making progress. But I could never have even anticipated that would happen. So that was that. And then obviously because it's been so dry, Ellie's feet were probably how a lot of horses that don't have shoes on's feet are looking. Like they were just looking awful, and like Ellie's got really good feet, so it's unusual for her to have feet that look that awful. And to be fair, when the farrier came, he was like, oh, I'm quite impressed that they don't all have feet like that, because he was expecting Lexi and Nico to also have feet looking like Ellie's. So he was quite impressed, but it did mean that because her feet were so like, I don't know how the best way to describe it is, but because they were so like jaggedy on the edges, he did have to cut her quite short. So now she's been like a new woman, honestly. She looks sound as a pound. She's been trotting around, prancing, like loving life. Until the poor farrier had to come out and do her feet, and because she was so jaggedy, he did have to cut her a little bit shorter. So now she's being a little bit sensitive on her feet, but hopefully that should pass in a few days.